The autumn air at Quantico, Virginia, is usually crisp and routine, but today it's thick with tension. Black sedans and military vehicles stream through the gates, carrying generals and admirals from every corner of the globe. Their faces are grim, conversations hushed. These are the leaders of the world's most powerful military, now summoned abruptly. The order came from Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Every general and admiral, nearly 800 officers, must report to Quantico for an emergency meeting. The suddenness sent shockwaves through the ranks, forcing commanders to drop everything and scramble for flights. The mood is not collaborative, but anxious. Why this meeting? Why in person? The questions hang in the air. Many have served through wars and crises, but this feels different. Personal, unpredictable. The sheer scale is staggering. Over 3,000 people, including aides and security, converging on one base. This is the brain trust responsible for nuclear deterrence and global defense, now pulled from their posts, creating a vacuum of command. The anxiety isn't just about careers, it's about the stability and readiness of the entire US military. Today, these warriors are an uneasy audience, waiting for a script they haven't seen. The uncertainty at Quantico is palpable, and the stakes have never felt higher. To understand the tension, you have to understand Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Appointed in 2024 during President Trump's second term, Hegseth is a former Fox News host and Army veteran, known more for his media presence than for Pentagon experience. He's a fierce critic of what he calls the woke military, targeting diversity and inclusion policies, arguing they weaken the armed forces. Supporters see him as a reformer, ready to restore combat focus. Critics see a political operator with little high-level command experience. His actions are often seen as calculated for public consumption, turning defense into a series of soundbites. This has created a rift between the new civilian leadership and the apolitical officer corps. By summoning the entire military leadership, Hegseth places himself at the apex of command, a powerful, controversial statement. The generals and admirals aren't just meeting their boss, they're meeting a media-savvy firebrand who now holds their futures in his hands. Gathering every general and admiral in one place is almost unheard of in modern US history. In the digital age, secure video conferences are the norm, allowing leaders to remain at their posts and respond to crises instantly. Forgoing these tools for a physical meeting is profoundly strange and disruptive. 800 senior officers have left their commands, creating a temporary leadership void and delaying operations worldwide. The cost is immense, running into millions for travel, lodging, and security. Critics argue these resources could be better spent elsewhere. Security risks are even greater. Concentrating all senior leadership in one building creates a high-value target, violating basic military protocols. The principle of command dispersal exists for a reason: continuity in case of attack. The lack of a clear explanation for this in-person meeting breeds suspicion and fear. The military thrives on order and predictability. This event is the opposite: chaotic, secretive, and highly irregular. The officers at Quantico are participating in an event that defies military logic, raising questions about what norms might be broken next. The Quantico meeting is the climax of a turbulent first year under Secretary Hegseth. He's shaken the Pentagon with abrupt, unexplained actions, signaling a desire to reshape the military's senior ranks. In February, he fired the Navy's top officer and the Air Force's second-in-command. No public explanation given. The message: no one is safe, regardless of rank or reputation. More firings followed, with a pattern emerging. Several prominent female and black officers replaced, fueling accusations of dismantling diversity efforts. Hegseth's public push to roll back DEI programs seemed to manifest in a purge of those not fitting his mold. He also ordered sweeping cuts: a 20% reduction in 4-star generals, 10% for other flag officers, and similar cuts to the National Guard's top ranks. While some called it streamlining, the lack of consultation made it feel punitive. It looked less like reform and more like a blunt effort to diminish established leadership and cement Hegseth's control. The stage was set for the anxiety now gripping the officer corps. Officially, The Quantico gathering is for Hegseth to deliver a major address outlining his vision for the military. The speech will focus on standards, discipline, readiness, and restoring the warrior ethos, a message he's honed for years. He'll introduce a new national defense strategy, shifting focus from global threats to prioritizing homeland defense, a fundamental change for many in the room. But there's another purpose: powerful visuals. The image of Hegseth addressing hundreds of uniformed leaders will be broadcast widely, projecting command and control. For many officers, the idea of flying across the world for a one-hour speech and photo op feels unserious. The substance could have been delivered by video. The real message is about power and presence. The medium is the message. Hegseth's ability to command their attendance, on his terms. Beneath the official agenda, a darker fear spreads among the officer corps. The secrecy, short notice, and recent firings have created an atmosphere of dread. Many believe this assembly is a pretext for a mass purge, a night of the long knives for the U.S. military. Officers fear Hegseth will announce mass firings or forced retirements, consolidating power and demanding loyalty. This isn't paranoia. It's rooted in the administration's focus on personal loyalty over experience. The military's tradition of apolitical service is seen as an obstacle by some in power. The meeting could be a loyalty test, designed to separate the compliant from the independent. Officers are caught between duty to lawful orders and their oath to the Constitution. The whispers at Quantico are about more than careers. They're about the soul of the officer corps. The Quantico meeting has drawn fierce criticism from former military leaders, analysts, and Congress. Why gather 800 commanders for a short speech in the age of secure communications? Critics call it political theater, an expensive, disruptive show of force for Hegseth's image. The cost is staggering, and pulling key leaders from their posts during global instability is seen as reckless. Security risks are glaring. Concentrating the chain of command in one place violates basic protocols. Many believe this is a loyalty test disguised as a policy briefing, turning the apolitical military into a political prop. Instead of building trust, the event sows division and fear, threatening the crucial bond between civilian and military leadership. When news of the gathering broke, the White House responded with surprise, then casual dismissal. President Trump initially seemed unaware, then voiced full support for Hegseth, dismissing criticism as political noise. The official line, "The meeting is necessary to strengthen the military," and concerns about cost or security are exaggerated. Vice President J.D. Vance echoed this, accusing critics of manufacturing controversy. The administration's message, "This is routine business, and doubters have hidden agendas." For the generals and admirals, this nonchalance deepens their anxiety. It signals that civilian leaders are indifferent to the disruption and risks, making the meeting's outcome even more unpredictable. The Quantico meeting is more than a logistical oddity. It's a defining moment for the U.S. military and its relationship with the nation. It exposes the tension between a highly ideological civilian leadership and a traditionally apolitical officer corps. At its core, this is a test of the military's identity. Officers swear to the Constitution, not a party or president. The administration's emphasis on loyalty challenges that foundation. If the meeting ends with purges and promotions based on allegiance, it could fundamentally alter military leadership and effectiveness. Allies and adversaries alike are watching. The stability of U.S. military leadership is a cornerstone of global security. A military led by political loyalists risks losing public trust and battlefield effectiveness. The world depends on American predictability and professionalism. The meeting called by Hegseth is not just an internal affair, it's a moment of profound uncertainty. The future of the most powerful military on Earth may hinge on what happens next at Quantico.